Hey everyone, welcome to another episode and another week of Guidebook Greenroom. And as you can see, we're joined by a very special guest today. We've got two people in our North Carolina Raleigh office. So Gulnaar, welcome as always, and Taylor, thank you for joining us. How are you going today?
We're doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very well, thank you.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. It's a good excuse to come into the office to get out of my house. And our topic today is about connection. So, Nathan and I recently attended some events. It's been really kind of on top of our mind, networking, community, that sort of thing. And we've talked about this before, but I'm an introvert and I find it takes a lot of effort to put myself out there. And I find it really challenging to come up with like interesting, valuable conversations with people, like going beyond small talk. However, you are so good at this, Taylor. I feel like you got it down to your heart. So I'm wondering if you can give us some tips. How do you create connection with people so quickly?
Well, it's interesting. I too think of myself as an introvert who's masquerading as an extrovert. And so when I'm flexing that extrovert muscle, one of the most important things is making sure that you're being authentic. So not trying too hard to come up with something to talk about, but talk about what's top of mind, what's going on. Events are really great for that because you've got a bunch of people in one space who are all focused on kind of one area or one thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was at IBTM a couple of weeks back, and I find that events are just a great way to start conversations authentically, right? You can talk about experiences that are happening right there and then. And it doesn't always have to be about work, right? I actually find it quite difficult or, a little bit when people are just getting straight into work and, actually sort of getting to know one another or striking up a conversation that's a little bit more real, a little bit more true to who you are. And then I find that when that flows into then a sort of proactive work conversation, the results are so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think events afford really great opportunities to engage with your tribe, right? Like you've all chosen to come together to this place to learn or to have fun. And that could be an event like a conference, or it could be an event like a game night or trivia at the bar, whatever it might be. However, this is the part that I enjoy most, but also struggle with. Then we leave. We're not getting to go home. But you are dispersing and going back to your individual lives, which have become increasingly digital and arguably more isolated. So, what do y'all think about technology's impact on human connection?
So I was reading a New York Times article not too long ago about how technology in large part can exacerbate loneliness. And I thought about actually my first time at a conference, which was several months ago at NACAC with Guidebook, and how uniquely something like a mobile event app can actually augment that in-person experience, connect you with the right people. And so I thought it's something worth talking about. I'd love to hear what you think on that, Nathan.
Yeah, definitely. I think taking a step back, firstly, to the kind of the thought of technology increasing that kind of feeling of loneliness. Like I remember I was working in the events industry as COVID landed and we started moving everything to digital. And that spark of an event where human connection, I believe, is so powerful, disappeared overnight. So we were still running events, hybrid events. Well, now they're hybrid, but at the time, fully online. And that human connection just was not the same. And I see that more and more, like we record this from remote locations, a lot of our work is remote. And I think that's why when I get the opportunity to go out to events, I'm so excited because, I do social events frequently with my friends, but actually in a work capacity, I do think there is a loneliness sometimes in the way in which we're working and communicating with one another. And events allow you to connect in that remit like we used to by going into the office 5 days a week. So for me, yeah, events are special because I do believe that a lot of people probably are feeling lonely at 3 p.m. in the afternoon when you've got the post lunch come down and you're sat in your house by yourself trying to motivate yourself. I think it'd be quite difficult.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the things that I'm hearing from events folks on the phone all the time is that we live in this segmented, siloed world that's actually created this burden on the event planner to make the time in person super, super valuable, to get the most out of it. I think you see that with the remote culture, but you also see that in our personal lives too. You only get so much time with your people, and you want to maximize that time.
Yeah, and I think that really comes back to your first point. Technology can play such a pivotal role in maximizing the effectiveness of that in-person time. So an event app is critical to being able to plan your time at the event successfully. Doesn't mean that you should spend the whole time on your phone, but it should be a tool that allows you to get the most from something. And I think that's the role technology had always played, right, for a long time. But because of the way in which we are going through other means like working from home, etc., there is more loneliness. So it's kind of like these two parallel universes of technology a little bit.
This was reminding me about the conversations we're having just in the world about AI replacing people or replacing processes or whatnot. I definitely think technology should augment and facilitate, but shouldn't replace human communication or in-person interaction, stuff like that. Just on a personal note, with like WhatsApp or whatever other tool people are using, like I'm able to keep in touch with my family and my friends all over the world. And my professional network has also expanded thanks to, LinkedIn and other technological tools. But like y'all are saying, I'm still most fulfilled by that in-person time. I wish there wasn't so much pressure on that in-person time to like make it perfect and amazing. But I think that's kind of what we have to balance, like you're saying, right? Figuring out how to find the people that you want to connect with and then creating those opportunities to connect. I wanted to ask y'all another question. So I love when you get together with some people, whether it's a professional networking event or just some friends hanging out, and someone has like a really lighthearted but like deeply thought-provoking question for the group. Just as an example, like what fictional world would you want to live in, right? And it just like tells you so much more about that person beyond like, oh, what do you do for a living? So to wrap up our session today, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite like icebreaker question?
Yeah, mine's quite a big question. But a podcast I listen to it's called Off Menu, if anyone's a podcast listener. And it's all about your dream menu. So as someone who just loves food, loves cooking, very passionate about it, can talk about it a lot. I love to ask that question because it activates memories, and people will tell you about a restaurant or family members, apple pie, whatever it is. Like you can really like get into like people's backgrounds, life and stuff. And then I just get super excited because we get to talk about food.
Yeah, I think similarly, mine is food related as well. I think like a thoughtful question about food can get someone talking about nostalgia, where they're from. So mine is name a food that is arguably not made better by either chocolate or cheese. And it's just great. It gets people talking, it gets people like arguing and taking like really stances. And so that can be fun when you're like trying to get people to talk from a cold room.
I know, I'm desperately trying to think of one, and I actually can't.
You can. Yeah.
I'm like thinking about what's in my fridge right now.
Yeah.
Other than chocolate and cheese.
I just put chocolate and cheese together. I mean,
I'm sure someone has done that in a way that is like appealing.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Taylor, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor, it's been great. Come back again, and thank you for spending a little bit of time with us in the Guidebook Greenroom. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for everyone for joining.
Good to see you guys.